and just that opening to know that there was something to consider, I actually found almost like a huge burden was lifted off my heart. Because aged 18, as you know, there's so much pressure to know, what are you going to do? What would you like to be? What are your social attitudes and values? Are you politically correct? What kind of orientations do you have in all kinds of areas? You have to know. And there's this kind of constant challenge in group situations. Will you say the right thing and be accepted, or be convincing, or be successful, or just be right? And to be able to say, actually it's okay not to know, to hear the teacher encouraging that was not refreshing. It was, like I said, like a huge weight lifted. And again, another sense that this is truth. In the same way that we're going to get old and sick and die, it's truth. I realize, nothing is sure, nothing is permanent, and nothing is stable. Even if things are permanent for a little, we can have a sense of a short-term permanency, but it's very unstable. And so, what a sort of a very different way to investigate things. And so this is a kind of the gradual teaching, you could say, of Ajahn Chah, the particular Dhammas that he picked up from. Not his own Dhamma, this is the timeless teachings that the Buddha himself had taught. And those weren't his either, as he said again and again. This is akaliko. But Ajahn Chah's skill was to find a few current themes and weave them together. So from mai ne, not sure, or unstable, we come to, well then, what are we holding on to? So first we see that the holding on to our thoughts, our views, opinions, that's actually very difficult. It's like again, one of Luang Por Chah's similes was like carrying bags. You carry these bags around, and it's so heavy, and it feels so heavy. And somebody says, "Well, put down the bags," and you say, "Well, then I won't have my bags." And in a minute, you can still have them. Just put them down. You don't have to carry them all the time, and use them skillfully. And so, just to be able to put down that knowing was so uplifting and enlightening for the heart. In a sense, it made the heart feel light and less burdened, rather than more burdened. So that this theme, this is a theme which I'm sure you'll hear more of today, of letting go. Luang Por Chah taught us just to let go through seeing just how unsure all of these things were. So in a sense, this is a few very, very kind of snippets of his teachings, but just to share with you how somebody who's now long passed away, but even at that time wasn't teaching, how he was able to inspire people, not just myself, but many, many others, simply to dedicate their whole lives to the path. There's certainly a leap of faith, because even then and now, no one can prove Ajahn Chah's enlightenment or any of the enlightened ones. We don't have this direct knowledge. But we look and we see, how does somebody live their life? And what are the ways what are the constant words they use? And then particularly in times of adversity, when things become difficult, when the body is breaking down, when everything's going wrong, how do they react? And when somebody reacts with a smile, or with the equanimity, or with the metta, or with the sense of never mind, just let go, then we get a sense, it's a little inkling that this person has something, some kind of wisdom that we'd like to have as well. And so that was the experience. And as I said at the beginning, his sense of creating Sangha was so beautiful. And what struck me most was the true reverence, not just reverence, but deep love. The only word really is love, that his direct disciples and the lay people of Ubon had for him. In Thai we have the expression "พ่อแม่ ครูบาอาจารย์." "พ่อแม่" means mother, father, and "ครูบาอาจารย์" means monk, teacher, like our Ajahn, Acharya or Sayadaw. So he was referred to as "พ่อแม่ ครูบาอาจารย์," mother, father, teacher, mother, father, Ajahn. not just Ajahn Chah. To people who lived with him and studied under him, he was Mother Father Ajahn Chah. So sometimes his name is translated as Luang Po, which means Venerable Father. But in Thai they acknowledge that side of him which was the mother too. He seemed to have cared for the Sangha, nurtured them through their early monastic years, not only giving birth to them as monks by ordaining them, but then nurturing them through their early years, leading by example, being there himself. 3 a.m, they used to say that sometimes you couldn't ring the bell because he would ring it first. And then when you got to the sala one day thinking you were going to get there first, you were second because he was there already. So leading by example, leading with metta, leading with love, but also, from what I've heard, being very fierce when it was time to be fierce. Because sometimes we do need a shock, like children, you have to scold them. I don't know, I'm not a parent, but from what I'm told, you do have to scold your children. They need their boundaries, they need their strict, clear guidelines, whether it's vinaya, whether it's admonishment, and he was there to do that, but in a way where everybody trusted that his intentions were entirely pure, that he had nothing but good wishes for people at all times. It wasn't that there were times when he wished everybody well, but then there were also times when he got angry with you and actually somehow experienced negativity. The outward expression of fierceness was simply knowing what we needed to learn. His disciples sometimes needed a sharp rebuke, and actually in Thai culture that was quite acceptable. With the Westerners, with their different conditioning and sense of fear and a deep, often inability to take strong words, he was very, very gentle. He was the warm and loving grandfather, and that was also the later years of his life. So he was this very skilled master in learning how to pass over the Dhamma that he had experienced. That sense of being a parent to the Sangha, and not just the Sangha. His kuti was like an open house. Ajahn Sumedho was telling me recently, even after evening chanting, 9 p.m, 10 p.m, sometimes villagers would come, they have a problem, and they would go and see him. He would receive them under his kuti with warmth, and they would tell them about his problem. And often it wasn't so much what he would give them, but simply the fact that he was there to listen to them and had time for them. So this sense of growing the Sangha. So every year now in Thailand there's an annual week-long meditation Dhamma practice festival and Dhamma talks. It's a bit like today's event, but it lasts 1 week, and there's 5,000 lay people and 2,000 monks camping in mosquito nets and tents and sleeping on mats in the forest of his monastery, around his jedi, and waking up early, listening to Dhamma all day, practicing meditation, and recollecting and reflecting on the teacher. And what comes up again and again and again is that when we do this, when we come to practice in this way, it doesn't matter whether Ajahn Chah is long gone or the Buddha himself is 2,500 years ago gone before us. It doesn't really matter. We can all be disciples of the Buddha, we can all be disciples of Ajahn Chah or any enlightened teacher, if we take those teachings and put them into practice. So in the same way, the Buddha had his very famous teaching to a monk when he told him, "One who sees the Dhamma sees me. Yo dhammang passati, so mang passati." One who sees the Dhamma sees me. One who sees me sees the Dhamma. And in Thailand, this is what's the constant refrain during this Ajahn Chah practice week is if we practice the Dhamma in the way our teachers did, then it's as if we see them. It wasn't that those disciples who were lucky enough to be there 30, 40 years ago and to be sitting in the same meditation hall with the master somehow got some magical some magical inspiration or transmission from him. It's up to us right now to take these teachings. Now there's so much books and Dhamma talks and information available, But do we dare to put it into practice in our daily life? Do we dare to challenge ourselves and say, actually, that perception I have is not sure? Can we stop ourselves when we're getting into an argument and say, hang on, I won't let my mind move towards negativity, I'll stay with metta, tolerance, understanding. This is how to be an Ajahn Chah disciple in this modern life. And so for myself and many of the monks here, and all the monks ordaining in his tradition today, we can't say we had Ajahn Chah as our teacher, but we can say those teachings are with us today, and we dedicate our life to the teacher in the same way that all of us here, I'm sure, are dedicating our lives at least to Buddha Dhamma Sangha. It's not really about an individual person, and today isn't about some kind of guru devotion to a particular individual, but about discussing, listening to, sharing, and celebrating timeless truths, and hopefully taking away some of it, part of it, reflecting on it, and then bringing it into our lives for our own well-being, for the benefit, for the happiness of us all. So on this occasion, it's a very great privilege to be invited to come and share these few short words. I sincerely wish that everybody here can take some inspiration from this whole event and is further encouraged and moved to share the spirit of Sangha, harmony, community life, practicing Dhamma Vinaya in line with the teachings of the Buddha, dedicating our lives to the Triple Gem. It seems to be a very worthy thing to devote ourselves to. So I'd like to end my talk there.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.